Fellows and members of the Institute, colleagues, welcome to the meeting. It is my last annual general meeting as the President. The Chartered Banker Institute is the oldest banking institute in the world. As you know, it was founded in 1875 to improve the qualifications of those engaged in banking and to raise their status and their influence. Basically, to develop a banking industry based on ethical and professional competence that customers and society could trust and rely upon. Today, some 142 years later, the Institute remains true to its founding principles and our overall objectives remain essentially unchanged. As President, I feel extremely proud to have presided over a rapidly changing and growing professional body that is now recognised not only as professional and an educational standard setter for bankers in the UK, but also as their definitive professional body. I'm hugely encouraged to see that the numbers of members joining the Institute continues to grow. Last year, our numbers grew by 8%, and membership now stands at over 30,000, including close to 8,000 student members in 59 countries. At the end of the year, there were 9,000 individuals studying for an Institute qualification, and that doesn't include those studying with our university partners, and nearly 10,000 individuals completed an Institute qualification during the course of last year. There are many reasons why members choose to join the Chartered Banker Institute and to gain our banking qualifications. But one idea is central: the desire to regain the trust and confidence of our customers. Becoming a chartered banker is a public demonstration of professionalism and ethics as expressed in our Code of Professional Conduct, which sets out the standards expected of the banking profession to help rebuild public faith. The Institute also continues to lead the professional standards agenda in the UK. We do this by campaigning for banks to invest further in staff development, to make sure the culture of prudence, professionalism and stewardship promoted by the Institute is embedded in the way banks do business. But the Institute has also extended its reach in other ways. Launched in 2011, the Chartered Banker Professional Standards Board, the CBPSB, was a voluntary initiative led by the Chartered Banker Institute and the CBPSB member banks, which together employ over a third of the UK banking workforce. The CBPSB has further reinforced professionalism in the banking sector by developing, implementing and sustaining professional standards, underpinned by an industry-wide Code of Professional Conduct. To give you an indication of the impact in the financial services sector of these initiatives, in just over 5 years, those professional standards have defined what it means to be a professional banker and supported nearly 250,000 bankers in the UK and globally in order to demonstrate professionalism. I warmly welcome the fact that the Institute has been building its influence in new areas. There's also been a focus on apprenticeships across the financial services sector, driven in the last year in part by the apprenticeship levy on major employers from April 2017 onwards. Significantly, the Institute has now been approved as an independent endpoint assessor across a number of different levels for the Trailblazers apprenticeship standards. As someone who's passionate about education, I was delighted to act as a host for our very first professional education in banking conference in May 2016 last year. This brought together a mix of banking sector learning and development professionals and specialists, academics, Institute members, policymakers and partner institutions, with a common aim of improving professional education for bankers. This highly successful conference is due to be repeated and will take place again in autumn of this year. Meanwhile, our UK-wide Young Banker of the Year competition, which sees the banking sector put forward the highest calibre of candidates, continues to go from strength to strength. The award is a prestigious accolade for rising stars in the sector and recognises and rewards those individuals who embody customer-focused ethical professionalism advocated by the Chartered Banker Code of Professional Conduct. You might have already seen that in 2016, our winner, Bernard Adjed from Lloyds Banking Group, proved to be a particularly worthy winner, donating some of his prize winnings to a school in Ghana to help towards the purchase of textbooks and computers. The Institute staff and a growing range of partners need to be congratulated for their work to keep the Institute at the forefront of professional education and standard setting for bankers in the UK and internationally. The role of Council and Committee is equally important in setting the direction and strategy for the Institute, and I must pay great tribute to my colleagues on Council and Committee for the last 2 years, particularly the Vice Presidents and the Executive Committee, for ensuring that at all times your Institute has remained very true to our core values and our mission. Can I also thank our Council colleagues for the support they have given me during the last 2 years as President, particularly for work on strategy days and all the working groups that dropped out of those strategy days, that where the hard work and the heavy lifting and the thinking was done for the Institute. Before I formally step down as President, it would be appropriate that we recognise today the very substantial contribution to the Institute and to Council made by 4 members who are stepping down today: David Blemon, Jeremy Fraser, Wendy Kinnear, and David Mackay. Collectively, they have served the Institute for more than 24 years, and they have served us very well indeed. May I sincerely thank each of you on behalf of the Fellows and members of the Institute for your service and contribution. And can I ask Wendy if you can come forward to receive a token of appreciation on our behalf? Thank you, Wendy. I'm sure that, like myself, David, Jeremy, Wendy, and David will continue to play a supporting and supportive role for the Institute in the coming months and years. And I urge us all as Council and Committee members, Fellows and members to do likewise. I must say, as this draws to a close, it's been one of the proudest moments of my career to be President of the Chartered Banker Institute, a historic but yet progressive organisation. And I'm confident that I'll be leaving the Institute in very good hands with an excellent Council and a very fine President to be elected shortly. Thank you very much.